Let me ask Marcus, can I ask you another question? Do you
Yeah, right.
think that for newbies, should newbies be going after fast escalation or should they be slowing things down?
Yeah, I'd encourage you to try and move away from the terms like fast escalation, slow escalation, solid game.
Why?
And I'd try to stick to the words of like calibrated escalation. And the level beyond that is I'd remove the idea of escalation. I think the idea of escalation puts into students' minds that it's like, okay, I'm going to wait till this interaction goes well, and then I'm going to test by trying to get something from the girl. I'm going to test by trying to like put something on the girl. I'm going to try like make out with her or touch her or invite her somewhere. I just rather think about it as okay, build a lot of attraction with this girl, move towards a sexualized tension place where the girl can start talking about herself and explaining about herself, where you can show authority. And then when that happens, you obviously make logistical moves. You start to see the pool, you get closer to your place, you go for the pool. That is what I teach guys to do. So, yes, as a beginner, that process in terms of time is probably going to take them a little bit longer, of course. And as they get better, I'd encourage them and I'd give them the power to know your actions make a difference. Okay. Your actions can change what these girls feel about you and what they feel about society. So, yes, you mentioned before, like some girls are going to be a little bit more closed minded. You can change that, right? You can encourage her to be more open minded. You can show her it's a good thing. Innately, women want to be. Innately, women want to be able to explore these sexual fantasies. And that's why we see that's the shift that society is going more and more. So yes, I would encourage the guys to be sexually calibrated in terms of escalation, and over time, that's going to be quicker and quicker, quicker.
So do you
What
think
what
if
would
Yeah, I
be
have to
you're
the
add something to. Yeah, okay. So it's basically a matter of communication actually. Can you actually talk with women? Can you talk with women really? And what you're emphasizing here, Marcus, what I can hear is like it's not about following some kind of a structure where you're going to talk about a certain topic that time and then you're going to move on to the next topic. It's more about a genuine conversation you're having with women. Most guys can't have a genuine conversation with women. And what you're telling me here now basically is like we are going to talk with the women until they feel ready for it, but we're going to talk with them in the way that is attractive. Remember what I said about the attraction switches in terms of neurotransmitters. We need to make them release dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and serotonin. We're doing that by making them talk about themselves, about what they think about things in depth. Their sexual fantasies, if you can ask a series of questions, relate back to yourself, and then ask series of questions based on that area, you will come into that depth which is telling you. What is happening then? Well, you created something that triggered her attraction emotions within her. She talked about what she think about things in matters or in areas that matters, and I think that is a huge part. So when you go with the fantasy part, like what is your sexual fantasy, you want to go into that direction because it's some way connected with you sleeping with her. I think that it doesn't have to be that particular thing. It's just that you chose to go that area, but it could be anything else. So many guys in the pickup artist community and dating community can't really talk with women. They can't really be quiet, listen, take what they say, and be curious about it. When you say independent woman, what do you mean exactly? And how do you relate that with guys? When it comes to sexy guys and you as an independent woman, what comes to your mind exactly? I want to know. And then she says something and you're like, wow, that triggered me. Wow, you know what? When I'm thinking about that part, I'm thinking about that type of sex or that type of intimacy. That is me. And then you dead quiet and then you roll over to her, see what she's saying, you testing her, how she responds to it, and you continue on. But it could also be about other areas. It could be about, about her passions. It could be about her willingness to travel to other countries, her willingness to do something that is more than her work and so on. It can be in so many things. But in order to be able to talk about those things, you need to be able to listen and continue a conversation that is based on real principles. And your method, I can hear directly, your method, Marcus, is forks of interpersonal communication principles. A lot of it. You're actually your strength is the listening skills, it sounds like.
the issue
Would you
here
agree?
though is
Huh?
I agree with what you just said, Michael, but this isn't a debate about calibration. I agree that guys should calibrate. If the woman is open to being sexually, uh, you know, uh, If sex is on the table earlier and the guy's into it and the woman's into it and he wants to calibrate to that, do it. The debate is that the majority of the time. Going back to the sales analogy, if you're going to train a newbie sales guy, what is better to teach him to look for laydowns, the people that are going to walk in and buy a car within 20 minutes? Or are you better off teaching a newbie a drawn out sales process and then teaching him, look, you're going to get some laydowns. If the person is showing buying signals, don't draw the sales process out too much if they're ready. You want to teach a newbie sales guy a longer process and then calibrate for the shorter ones. You don't want to teach him to look for just quick sales and be an order taker and then calibrate the reverse way.
Hang on. Do you think you can change a girl's perspective? So if I have a girl that says, I have a rule, I don't have sex on the first night, can you change that or do you just wait?
You can change it. It depends on the woman and it depends on how serious she is about that.
Okay, if you were able to change that, would you want to do it?
Depends on the circumstances again.
What does it depend on?
Here's the thing. You can open a woman's mind up to a certain degree, but there's a certain degree that she knows what's going on. This is why I said, too, a lot of women will hook up not because of a guy's game, but in spite of it sometimes. Like,
okay, so a girl has a rule, I don't have sex on the first night. If you can change that, would you do it?
If I really want to, if I think I'm not going to violate some sort of comfort of hers, if I think she's not going to get buyer's remorse, and if I'm really in the mood, then sure, maybe I'll try to change that frame and
if you're a car salesman,
how strong that frame is.
If you're a car salesman and someone comes in and says like, hey, look, to be honest, I don't think I'm looking to buy a car like right now. I just kind of want to see what is available.
Yeah.
If you were like, how would you treat that? If you were able
to it depends.
Help this guy.
If they're just giving me some token resistance, but they actually are opening to buying a car, I may do some quote unquote objection handling. But if they're very serious about not wanting to buy a car that day and I push too hard for the sale, they're not coming back.
Yeah. So I think what makes a really good salesman is to be able to identify what the objections are and to be able to.
This isn't a calibration debate. This isn't a calibration debate.
100% is, because basically what we're asking is, with the right calibration, should you be having fast escalation or slow escalation? With the right amount of attraction, with the right amount of attraction and sexualization, you should be doing it early. And
that's
there's
not
no
the
reason to
debate.
be waiting here. So it's not, the debate isn't, if we poll 1,000 women, how many of them would just say tonight they want to have sex with a guy within 4 hours? That's not the question. The question is it possible to take a girl and get her to a position which is attracted and turn on and wanting to have sex early? And if that is the case, should you be doing it? And
that wasn't the debate. That was not the debate.
What is the debate prompt?
Listen,
what is
if
the
the woman prompt? If the woman is open to having sex, or if she has some objection that can be overcome, and we are open to having sex and we're calibrated, have sex. Have sex in 2 hours. Have sex in 45 minutes. But the problem is you can't
do that.
The question is,
you're not able to take a girl that isn't ready and make her ready. Your only solution is to wait.
I'm not able to take a woman that's not ready and change her mind.
Correct.
I've been in the game for 19 years. I've been coaching for 15 years. I've been training with Mystery and working with him for 8 years. I'm 19 years in the game. You don't think I know how to change a girl's mind?
Okay, so if you can, why don't you do it and then have sex with her early?
Because I have done it, and it's not the norm. It's not the norm. The majority.
You keep saying it's not the norm. I'm trying to tell you it is. I'm trying to say this because you are able to.
Hear me out.
If you're able to change it, how is it not the norm?
Let me do a quick rant. Okay.
All right, hit me.
You go into a night game scenario. The majority of women are in groups. They're with friends. They're often with mixed sets, men and women. Are the majority of women in those situations able to be peeled away from their group and hooked up with in a matter of 2 hours or less? I say no. I say the majority of the time it's more like 4 to 10 hours. If we're going for night one, it's closer to the 4-hour mark, right? The majority of women are not grocery shopping and then going home with a dude within 2 hours. The majority of women are not going from a dating app.
They're not doing it with you.
No. Let me just finish. Let me finish.
Yeah.
The majority of women are not going from a daytime scenario to the bedroom in 2 hours. And in a social circle situation where she has friends, mutual acquaintances, she's not hooking up in 2 hours or less. Therefore, let me finish. Therefore, the majority of the time, fast escalation game is not as good as playing solid game, opening the group, going indirect, testing for comfort, letting her sample your song before she decides if she wants to buy the whole album.
Okay, I think what I've discovered here is that for you, slow escalation probably works better because when you try to fast escalate, you probably haven't got the attraction or the sexual tension enough to do it.
Yeah, okay.
For me, that's why you think it's not the norm. For me, and it seems like for a lot of other coaches and students out there, it is. Like they are able to take a girl grocery shopping, and if she's available and free, they are able to actually build that interaction up and get her to the point where she wants to have sex within 4 hours.
4 hours?
I think
so
like
you
part
agree
of
with
the,
me? So you agree with me? 4 hours?
I said
It's
within
more like
4
4
hours. You
hours?
said your
Oh, so
beginning of
you're
the
saying
threshold was
less
4
than
hours.
4 hours.
Yes.
So what would the average be then? 2 hours between 0 and 4 hours? So the
Yeah.
average
Yeah.
is
I would
2 hours.
say, yeah, I'd say for a day game pool, 2 to 3 hours. Yeah.
The majority of women, the majority of the time can be
You keep
pulled
saying
in two
majority
hours.
of women as if it's like some random guy off the street that we're getting to speak to them. I agree. If we get George off the street to go talk to a girl in the grocery store, he's not building attraction. He's not
I
sexualizing.
didn't
And this
say anything
motherfucker
about
is not pulling within four
I didn't
hours.
say the
I'm
average
talking about
dude.
someone that is able to apply a principle where you build attraction, where you have sexual authority, and then go for the pull 100%. So you keep saying the normal, the majority, the thing. I agree. For the majority of people that have no idea what they're doing, it's going to take a lot longer. But if you apply these principles, it's going to be much quicker.
No matter how good your game is, no matter how good your game is, most women are not going home with a dude in 2 hours most of the time.
Okay.
That
Well,
is the
let's
I think
turn
we're
that
just
is the
circling here
crux
now.
of the
Yeah, I
argument.
think we're just circling, but
let's
go
turn
for
this
us.
into a few other things. So, for new guys, which system do you think would be better?
I already explained this, the car sales analogy. Teach a guy to play solid game, teach him how to draw things out, teach him to wait till that escalation window fully opens, and then allow him to speed things up if he really wants to. But you need to warn him of the dangers of speeding things up, which is buyer's remorse, which is burning through a bunch of opportunities with women that he could have had. It's just, but first you need to teach a guy solid game, and then if he wants to go for faster escalations and calibrate, he can.
Right.
Yeah, I think for a beginner, I'm probably not even teaching him escalation, to be honest. For a beginner, you just want to work on subcoms, you want to work on getting over AA, you want to work on building attraction. The next step on that is going to be bringing up sexual topics, building tension and showing authority there. It's one of the last steps is probably going to be like seeing the pull, escalating, getting back to your place. So yeah, for a beginner, I'm probably going to focus on the fundamentals that then allow you to pull quickly. But those fundamentals are probably more important.